So I'm now live at the BMW stand and was almost kneed in the crotch by Tom Plasinski, who's going to deny it on camera, mostly because he's Canadian. He's a nice guy. But it has been my absolute pleasure for 10 years, 11 years in this career to try to torment Tom as much as possible.
Never managed to do it.
It doesn't work. He's Canadian. He's nice. He just smiles. Yeah. Occasionally, you get he gets his little vein popping out in his head, and that's when I know I'm almost there. It's almost. Anyway, Tom is you are director of product communications.
Product communications for BMW Group. So BMW, Mini, Motorrad.
Okay.
Actually, anything that has wheels. So I also do motorsport and BMW Classic.
And does BMW do wheelchairs yet?
Because if they do, one. Yeah, for the Olympics. But I didn't have anything to do with that one.
And when they make a BMW wheelchair, this is the guy who will be fastest on it. Because the one thing I can say about Tom is he's a real car guy. He's not one of these executives in a suit that just... Well, he's in a suit. But he's not just a suit. Yeah, he's a driver and he's a car guy. And he gave me a steering wheel once. So I have to be very nice to him. I don't, however...
Out of my car.
Out of his own car. So really quick story. Back in the day, you were doing PR for BMW Canada?
No, I think it was product planning actually at the time for BMW Canada, and I had a E30 3 Series wheel from an M. Well, actually, no, it would have been 325 IS European style.
Right. So the M Technic 2 steering wheel, which is like the holy grail of steering wheels for E30s because we're nerds. And he saw that my E30, and I don't know what happened. You're like,
no, you were talking about trying to get that steering wheel, and I said, I have one. And I donated it to a good cause.
Yeah, and now it's the steering wheel that's in my car. Okay, on to the new stuff. This is the first ever 7 Series to wear an M badge on it.
Absolutely, it is, yeah. And it's a V12.
And it's a V12. We'll get to that in a second. But there's never been an M7 before.
No, there hasn't. No.
And M has always said, look, it doesn't really fit in with M brand ideals.
Exactly. And its name is the M760. Mm-hmm. So it's not an M car per se. It's an M performance automobile, so not quite a full M, but close.
Almost. Yeah, exactly. So in the way that the M235i is breathed upon by M, but not necessarily a full
and it's been quite heavily breathed upon. And for us, the V12 is one of those. It's a fabulous engine, but not a lot of people really buy them. Mm-hmm. And for this car, we thought, okay, well let's make an M performance car with the V12, give it some fabulous performance, 610 horsepower, and see what we can do with it.
And this, I've been on record a couple times as saying, I was making fun of Mercedes V12, because Mercedes V12 is single overhead cam, 3 valves per cylinder, no variable valve timing, port injected, ancient.
Got all that.
This BMW's V12 is the most modern V12 in the world. So not only is it
turbos,
610 horsepower, but it's 610 horsepower delivered properly with not a lot of turbo lag. Huge, massive power and refinement. This is, guys, anything short of a Ferrari V12, this is as good as it gets.
That's right, and then pair that up with M-tuned suspension, M brakes, M breathed upon interior and everything, and you have something that's pretty special.
The best thing about the previous 760 was that it did epic burnouts. Eighth throttle.
I seem to remember that, yeah.
I might have done one on a video, a quarter mile long.
Yes.
This one, however, has 4-wheel drive.
Right.
So my question
it launches.
Does it drift?
We'll see.
Can I have one?
I haven't driven one yet, and neither have you. So so it's too fresh. We haven't had the press launch yet for the car. That's coming up later this month. So you'll have a chance later on.
So what you guys, if the camera moves this way, what you can see is Tom has something in his hands that I'm going to steal. We're going to go to try to drift it through the Detroit Auto Show. Come on, let's go. Okay, I gotta say first I gotta comment on the. Is it open? The Superman color scheme. There is something really hot about a blue car with a red interior.
Well, after all, it is the auto show, so we had to do something.
Whoa, look, the best part is we got away from all those people. It's so quiet in here. Yeah. Okay, so differences from the regular M. The regular 7 Series, I don't remember seeing a huge V12 logo on any of the other ones.
No, so if we start with the roof, it's Alcantara, and Alcantara is always wonderful.
Pretty.
Yeah,
you can write horrible, profane things in it.
Right. Yeah. If it's your own car. Yeah. Yeah, not on our car. The trim inside is a little different than the standard 7 Series.
And this
it says M760 in front of you on the dashboard when you start it up.
an M steering wheel.
An M steering
The
wheel.
new one with this heated steering wheel button in the visible spot.
Yes.
I mean, I know this is one of those stupid things, but BMW does ergonomics better than almost anyone else. And the one button that you could never find was the heated steering wheel button.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, it was true. And then now, even on the ones that have the button on the side, it does give you an indication in the instrument cluster that tells you it's on or off. Yeah, and that was always an issue when you pressed the button. You had to look around the steering wheel to see if that was on.
So this regular production model, not limited production? That was one of the questions.
This is a regular production model. The V12 is always a small production anyway. In the previous generation of 7 Series, we sold roughly 100 a year of the V12s. Yeah, so it was very rare. This is probably going to do much better than that.
Just because it has the M badge on it?
Because it is more performance oriented. It seems that when you get to the very high end like this, we do very well with Alpina B7, for example. You know, we sell roughly 400 or 500 a year. We're now the biggest market for the B7 in the world.
Oh, really?
So it's wonderful. And now we have another car with similar performance but a different flavor again. And it should do well. But we'll tell you at the end of the year how well it does.
We'll find out. And this replaces the 760, right? So there is
There's no luxury 760. No, if your fans are really with it, they'll see that there's one on sale in China that's the elegance version.
Right. But this is the performance.
But this is the only one we sell in the U.S. Long wheelbase M.
What a bunch of people have asked what the price is.
The price is, I don't remember quite offhand, but it's roughly $145 or so.
Okay.
And there's not very many options.
And this will probably be, is my guess, the fastest accelerating 0 to 60 car that, there's the Alpina B6 Grand Coupe is 4-wheel drive too.
Yeah.
So this has got to be up there though.
It's up there. It's roughly the same as the Alpina B6. And you'll have a chance to test it, I'm sure.
Threes.
It's definitely threes. Yeah,
like mid threes.
Yeah.
So here you can have a car the size of a school bus.
Yeah.
That doesn't
carry quite as many kids as school bus.
No, but they can put them in the trunk. I've heard that trunk is very big on this car. And then the other news here is actually parked right next to us. It's Concept X2.
Yes.
We can talk about just really quickly.
Okay.
That is, we can get out and we can look at it. Cool. We have to be among the other people now. Yes. It's gonna get loud. Hold on. So this is a concept, but this, from what I understand, is really close to what we're going to see from an X2, right?
Exactly. So we have the X1. It's on the market. It's our entry-level SUV at the moment, or SAV as we call them, sports activity vehicles. And this is the X2. It's 4 doors, but it's our coupe-like. And then this one has more of a cam back on it with the logo up in the C-pillar, cool. Kind of like the old CSL.
Yeah, exactly.
Style. Yeah, and we expect it to do quite well in the U.S.
And so this one is, so it's still labeled a concept, but it's pretty close to the way the production car will look, right?
Exterior styling is quite close. I don't think we'll have those crazy tires,
or the mirrors,
maybe, right. But the rest of it is pretty close to the final version. Yeah,
and so it follows the sort of X6 and X4 recipe. And I'll say this, which you probably won't want to hear. At least it's not fugly like those cars are.
Oh, come on,
no, those are. I mean, look, this I think is great proportioned hatchback, where those definitely have a different look, right? I mean, they look very different than any other car. This is a conventional looking.
They do. The X4 and X6 have done very well for us. So clearly some people don't think that they are the way you think they are. But
there are blind people everywhere. See, I'm
tough
what the camera can't see is I just got the vein to pop out. I got the vein.
Got the vein. But to each their own. You know, for us, we'll make it both ways. And you can get an X1, which has possibly a little more headroom and more utility. This one's a little sportier in its spin. So it works for
one or
multiple.
The other. Yeah. And is this the whole idea of a concept X2? Is it meant to be an actually sportier version of the car, or is it just meant to look more sporty?
we'll see when we get to the
Okay.
the
So
true
we
car.
haven't discussed. You guys haven't discussed engine availability and that kind of stuff.
Engine availability, you can probably guess what it's going to
Right.
be. It's going to be similar to X1.
So X1 for
in
those
terms of chassis tuning and that sort of thing, that could be
that could be different.
Yeah.
But X1, remember, guys, is not a conventional BMW in that it has a longitudinal engine up front and rear-wheel drive. This is the UKL architecture, right? Which, or something, whatever you guys call it, which is the mini architecture, which means it's a transverse engine, front-wheel drive based platform. The limitation there is really when you get to driving like an idiot. So sideways stuff, right? Front-wheel drive based cars can't send more than half or 60% of the power to the back. So the brilliance in BMW's tuning is, and I'll let you talk in a second, has always been that even the all-wheel drive cars really feel rear-wheel drive.
Yes.
The X1 is a fantastic handling car for a front-wheel drive based vehicle, but you're not going to see me doing lurid slides in it, most likely.
Most likely?
Most likely.
Well, it's a challenge for you to do a lurid slide.
You heard it there first.
Uh-huh.
BMW has challenged me to do lurid slides in an X1.
Yeah. You're known for your lurid slides, so you know.
Do you see? Hold on, I'm gonna pop. Do you see what I have to deal with? On the one hand, they're like, you're gonna drift our cars and return it with no tires and whatever. And then on the other hand, what was that? Oh, a challenge? A challenge. I have been challenged to drift an X1. So that's next.
That's next.
Or should I wait for the X2?
You could wait for the X2 if you'd like. Yeah.
It is a really good looking car. Looking forward to seeing it this summer, maybe later this year.
No, a little later than that. Sometime this year.
Sometime this year we'll see it. And then so on sale next year. We can expect it later this year.
Maybe towards the end of the year. It might
Okay.
be possible. Yeah.
Okay, but you can buy an M760 now.
No, not yet. Soon. Yes.
Now, okay.
So first, it's spring deliveries.
Okay.
For these. Yep.
Spring deliveries, and they are all-wheel drive only. You can't get a rear-wheel drive
Correct.
version. I think that's...
As you showed, you kind of need all-wheel drive to put the torque to the ground.
The truth of the matter is, all of the V12 luxury sedans that with twin-turbo V12, so that's S-Class, they all have way too much power for rear-wheel drive. And while that's fun for a couple of minutes, when you're the one paying for the tires, i.e. when BMW isn't giving tires to me for free, they're lumbering. They're a little bit dopey. I mean, you can't get across an intersection quickly without accidentally frying the rear wheels. And really, that's not a good thing. These cars need all-wheel drive, so that's the right choice.
Definitely. And the package works very well as an all-wheel drive. And then you can get the power to the ground. You get the acceleration that is addictive.
Right.
And
it's my guess is if it's tuned like the regular xDrive 7 Series, they will get sideways.
Again, this is an M version, so it's been tuned M-ish. So it's you might be able to get sideways a little bit more easily.
So I've heard a
one.
second challenge has just happened.
There's no challenge there.
No challenge.
No challenge.
Damn it.
Those are expensive tires. I don't want